Welcome on into Drinks with Binks. I'm Julie Stewart-Binks, and for many of you out there, you're either watching this on Friday, which is the night before Halloween, or on Halloween. I'm sorry if this is what you're doing on Halloween night, but I would usually be dressed up because I just love costume, and I think Halloween is a state of mind. And so even if you shouldn't be going outside, please have fun, dress up inside. And just a little sneak peek, because I'm not dressed as my character, I'm going as Dr. Frankenfurter from the hit movie Rocky Horror Picture Show, celebrating its 45th anniversary. My favorite quote, "Don't dream it, be it." And that is a perfect quote to embody my next guest here right now, who is the reigning champion here on Drinks with Binks, which really doesn't make any sense at all because we don't have any kind of drinking competitions whatsoever, but he won it. This is none other than sports broadcaster, entrepreneur, host on Peacock's new Brother from Another, Michael Smith. Thank you for coming back here again. It's great to see you.
Oh, it is my pleasure. It is great to be seen. Always a pleasure to see you, JSB. Listen, that title of champion, of Drinks with Binks champion, that matters to me. It's right up there with my 2 fantasy title in 3-year run. That is side by side.
That's huge.
Look, some of us in business, we shoot for Emmys. Me, I want fantasy titles and I want drinking titles. And, I think, if I may say, I think I might have established a mark that will never be touched. I think me putting down, 6 Hennessy and lemonades, I think that's like Joe DiMaggio-esque hitting streak.
It's like no one can ever get near it.
Exactly. And even if they do, it'll probably be because you change the rules and it's easier and everything's inflated. But
goalpost moving, yeah,
exactly. I am the official champ, never to be challenged, and that's something I'm going to go to my grave with pride. So thank you very much.
Kudos to you, because you weren't even chasing anyone. It's like you're Usain Bolt. Like, you were already so far ahead. It was like you're looking behind. Like, is anyone else in this race?
The basket was this big, Julie. It was just like I just started going, and I mean, it's not. I woke up that morning feeling dangerous. And I never felt, I can't say that I've ever felt that way before going into a show, but it was just something about that day. I was just in the right frame of mind, my pregame music, my routine. But I said, man, I'm gonna do something special today. And next thing you know, because I mean, look, I'm no drinker, you know what I mean? I'm not a heavy drinker. I'm not the type of person that drinks somebody else under the table, but that day I was just in the zone. And the next thing you know, just one back and another back, and I'm feeling it. And you look up and 6 drinks in, God knows what I said. I'm just happy that I still got all my money. That's all I care. I got my buyout didn't stop. I didn't say anything that compromised my money. So it was a good show. It was all
hey, that's all that matters in the long run, really. And it was a spectacular show. We had a great time sipping on some, first time for me, Hennessy and lemonade. And Michael, what do we got today? We got you told me a different drink, by the way, because I always like to drink what my guest drinks. But what are you drinking?
I recommended that you do a double shot of Crown with Sprite and lime.
Oh, it was double shot.
It should be a double shot of Crown with Sprite and lime. It looks good.
This whole thing is basically great. Crown with like a little bit of Sprite and a lime.
There you go. You're good. So that's fine. All right. So you'll be feeling good. You'll feel better than me. So since I had the Crown, but not the Sprite, and I would have done Crown and Coke or Crown and 7-Up, I didn't have any soda. But what I did have was Simply Peach.
That's good. I haven't had that.
Grey Goose and Simply Peach.
That looks real good.
It sounds good, right? So it's gonna be my first time trying this. Cheers. Okay.
Cheers. Great to have you back, champion.
Oh, this shit's good.
This shit is also really good.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. Oh yeah.
You know what's really odd is this is the 3rd guest out of like 5 that has picked Crown originally. So for whatever reason, I mean, I guess maybe we're sponsored by Crown, which I am a fan of, obviously, because it's Canadian. And I obviously only like Canadian things, especially in today's day and age.
Speaking of days, you're going to love this. Sorry to cut you off. You're going to love this. Speaking of days and age. So, let me tell you something about black people right fast. We got this. Crown is a special drink to us, not just because we love Crown Royal, because it's a great drink. And specifically black people from New Orleans, not just because we start drinking Crown, like preteen. I've been drinking Crown my whole life. But as you may know, black people love to make the most of their resources. And one of those all-purpose resources is the one and only Crown Royal bag. A Crown Royal bag is our safe. It is our safe. Some people have safes in their house. We keep the deeds to our house, our wills, our money, our jewels, our valuables. We keep it in Crown Royal bags. It goes so far, the affection for Crown Royal bags goes so far in our culture that I have seen people construct entire outfits out of Crown Royal bags. Okay, I've seen it. It really happened. But so I don't have an outfit, but what I do have in this day and age, you know, a mask is now an accessory. And so, pow.
Oh my God.
I have a Crown Royal mask that was made. Hold on, see if I can put this on. Just kind of show you how well it fits. It fits better than I'm not doing it right. But yeah. This is come on now.
This is insane. Michael, I loved you before. You're champion. Now you're like platinum champion status with that Crown Royal mask.
Right? Like, you gotta wear these things.
You could get, citizenship in Canada with that.
If we're gonna wear these things, we might as well do it in style, right? So
yeah.
I know we're not in New Orleans.
I will say it is funny you mentioned that, because when I got the crown that's sitting behind me originally, I asked my boyfriend, I'm like, should I keep this bag? Like, is this something that I should sort of like showcase it off in or use it for something? So I feel like I had like an inkling, like this is something special, right? Like we got to use this thing because it just looks special.
Just put some shit in it. You'll find yourself kind of be like, oh, you'll collect them. And then they make different colors now. Like the vanilla crown, like orange bags. You'll just find yourself like 6 Crown Royal bags. Yeah,
it's like purse or something like that. Looks pretty special. Or a mask. That's exactly what we're going to be doing here. So, yeah, we've got a whole lot more to get to on this program with Michael Smith. You know him from Brother from Another on Peacock TV, as well as formerly ESPN. We'll be back with more on Drinks with Binks.
What's good, everybody? This is Jerome Baker, Miami Dolphins linebacker. I spent my bye week with Drink with Binks. It was water, but you never know. You never know what was in it, but let's just say it was water.
Hey guys, welcome back to Drinks with Binks. I'm JSB. We've got Michael Smith here, and he's our undefeated champion of drinking on this show, which is, I always tell a lot of people, it's not a drinking show. It just is a vehicle on the show. And you're drinking a little Simply Peach. And when in the olden days, when we used to go out to bars till 4 a.m., I used to pick up a couple Simply lemonades at the old bodega in the morning and crush them. Those are my memories of Simply. So, but now the world is completely different, and we are doing this from our homes, but we're still having a great time. And Michael, for you have, in the pandemic, contrary to many other people's current, job situations, you got a new show. You have this show on a new streaming service, and it's on from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern every day. So it's a 2-hour show every day. What makes this job and this opportunity unique?
That's a great question. It's really Michael Hawley, because, he and I, we go back over 20 years now. And I'll be honest with you, Julian, I think I might have told you this in my last visit, which was just about a year ago, because it's just about a year ago, a year and a month that I left ESPN. I think I told you then that I wasn't rushing or itching to get back on camera. And I was cool. I was fine. I had, when Michael called me, I was in the process of transitioning out of a second startup that I was a part of and starting my own company, which I have started. It's called Inflection Point Entertainment, by the way. And I was good, having transitioned into development and production. But when Michael came calling, it was something that we had always talked about, but not just something that we'd always talked about doing. It had to be somebody in a project that I could feel good about giving my time back to, because I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it to be on camera. I wanted to feel good about who I was working with and what we were doing. And so the who is cool, because it's not just, oh, I like this person. It's, can I tolerate this person all day, every day, and specifically for 2 hours? And it's a legit 2 hours. It's not a linear TV 2 hours. It's like 2 hours with like 12 minutes of commercial breaks throughout the whole show. You know, it's like they didn't tell me that when I signed a contract. It was like, oh, it's gonna be 2 hours. I'm thinking, oh, like that's like, you know, what is it, like 44 minutes an hour? It's like, nah, player. You got some 2-minute breaks, and I'm like, really? Like, damn. But the time flies when I'm talking to Michael Holley, because we got that vibe going. But the other part is, what is the show? And am I going to be able to do the show the way I want to do it? Full stop. Are we going to be able to have the conversations we want to have? Full stop. And to his credit, NBC Universal, NBC Sports, and Peacock, we have not gotten a single phone call through 32 shows about our editorial judgment. Nobody's even there. Nobody's even weighed in on, well, you should talk less about this, or you should do more of this. Nope.
Well, I guess what that means is that no one's watching.
That's kind of what I'm looking at.
I'm joking. I'm just messing with you.
Earlier, when you went to break earlier, you were like, you know him from Brother from Another. I'm like, no, they don't. No, probably not.
Probably not.
Not yet. I mean, hopefully someday they do, but not right now.
Yeah.
We're still working on that.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what, like
hopefully we bring your audience to the show, you know?
Definitely. And your audience to this show too. And because I've noticed on your show, which is quite interesting with the feeds that you guys have, it's like sort of like what's on your mind, like what you want to talk about, is that there are a lot of political topics on there. And that was something that your former employer was like, whoa, don't even go there. But Peacock seemingly is like okay with it. Like, how have maybe the editorial guidelines or support been different with this new opportunity versus the last?
I think it's just a different time. I mean, even ESPN has come around on that. I think the country, but specifically the people who live at the intersection of sport and society, have stopped trying to be intellectually dishonest and disingenuous about the fact that there's never been a time in our country's history where sports and politics have not intertwined. If anything, sports has been at the forefront of social change. And so I think for a while there, you had a very vocal stick to sports movement that fooled people into thinking that there was a separation between sports and the rest of society. And there never really was. So enter George Floyd and his brutal murder captured on camera in Minneapolis. And I think everybody just, especially being led by the usual suspects in the sports community who are always out front when it comes to these conversations, whether it's, LeBron or Chris Paul, take your pick. I think the networks and decision makers realize we can't fight this anymore. There's just no fighting this conversation. And so, truth be told, I said that I was quite comfortable in my new role as an entrepreneur and as a content creator. But it wasn't like people were knocking down my door either. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was getting, a shit ton of phone calls from people asking me to do a show. And if I'm being honest with you, Jules, I was like, well, hey, that's interesting. I was only one of the highest profile people at ESPN for 15 years. So it's like, that's interesting. I don't have a whole lot of opportunities on camera. I'm not pursuing them, but I'm not exactly getting a lot of inbound. I mean, I don't mean to trivialize it at all. Rest in peace. And it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. It galvanized a nation. Hopefully it inspired real change or inspired a racial reckoning. We're still in the process of figuring out what exactly that looks like. But George Floyd's murder was a flashpoint, maybe even an inflection point. But I bring it up to say, way down on the list is that it freed everybody to have these conversations that, I've always had, I've always tried to have, we've always been having. But not just that, you had networks like Peacock saying, we need to have these conversations.
Right.
We need to have people on our network who are comfortable and capable to have these conversations. So enter Michael Holley. And honestly, the sequence of events was Michael Holley was already working at NBC in Boston. So Peacock and NBC Universal called Michael Holley and asked him, and he said there's only one person, and that's Michael Smith. And they were like, oh, word? Well, let's see if we can get him. And so they called me up, and I was like, no, I'm straight. but they wouldn't relent. They wouldn't give up.
That's
Michael
great.
kept it. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And here we are.
Well, I mean, you said like a lot of really interesting things there, and I want to get to them. We have to take a quick time out here on Drinks with Binks, but we have a whole lot more to get to with Michael Smith and Grey Goose and Crown and all the things here. So stay with us.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jamel Hill, and I had drinks with Binks. And I'm still standing. I'm sitting. See, that should let you know how drunk I am. Drinks with Binks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Drinks with Binks. I'm JSB. We got Michael Smith here, formerly of ESPN, now with Brother from Another on Peacock. And just to get into something that you mentioned before, you know, you and Jamel, as we talked about, were really at the forefront of discussing race and sports. It wasn't politics, it was morals. It was how you treat people. And I know I listened to a podcast you did with Richard Deitch, and you made that very clear with everyone. And you guys were kind of vilified for just talking about what was going on in the world. Now, flash forward, everyone's talking about what you guys were talking about then. How does that make you feel watching it from afar?
It's a great question. At first, it was frustrating. You know, at first, there was a lot of anger about that, because I'm like, wait a second. You know, I'm old enough to remember 2018. I'm like, if Black Lives Matter now, they didn't matter then. I'm like, and I'm watching, and it's nothing against the people doing it, but I'm watching friends of mine. I'm watching people who I respect. I'm watching them have unfiltered, unlimited, you know, unedited conversations, you know, on the same platforms, you know, whether it's, you know, Sports Center or any other, you know, The Jump or NFL Live or name a show. Everybody's having that conversation. I'm like, oh, word? Like, wow. I'm like, having those conversations literally compromised me in my career. I'm like, so, but it's cool now. And but it's not just exclusive to ESPN. It's just cool now, period. Like, it's not.
Yeah, but going back to that, like, how does that? So you see that, like, how did it make you feel? I was angry. I was frustrated. I was, resentful, because I just felt like, I was like, wow. I was like, and it wasn't just because of what I had gone through in the name of carrying on those conversations on SportsCenter. It was, what's changed? Why is this different? Like, unarmed black people have been getting killed on camera. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about police brutality. It's not like it's a different subject matter. It's not like there's a different take on the matter. It's not like there's some discovery that led us to feel like, oh, well, this is different. It's like, this is literally the same subject. He was just killed in a different manner. I was like, so now it's cool, but less than 2 years ago, it wasn't, and I'm a living example of that? I was like, really? And so what it had me doing was questioning, and again, not just ESPN's, but everybody, all of America, all of the corporations who were lining up to say Black Lives Matter, all of the networks, all of the people who were putting Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter collection on their streaming services, Black Voices on their streaming services. Video games had a Black Lives Matter declaration when you opened up a video game. I'm like, oh, so it's like, it's trendy now. You know, and the downside of saying Black Lives Matter or supporting Black Lives Matter is now greater than the downside of distancing yourself from that very basic idea. And so there was a lot of resentment at first, just given what I'd been through. But over time, I realized, like, I'm entitled to my feelings, but I try not to make it about me. And the most important thing is, okay, well, look, better late than never. And here we are having these conversations, and more important, others who came behind me are now getting an opportunity to speak their truth and speak that truth to power. So be it. You know, like, I've moved on. I'm in a better place than I would have ever been at ESPN, quite frankly.
And maybe it just took him a while, but here we are.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, it's still like the feelings would be so it'd just be very difficult to watch that, even though, as you mentioned, it is for greater good. It's like I had to kind of be. Yeah. No. And
okay. And but there was a part of me that felt like Michael, come on, like grow up. I'm sorry. What is that?
What kind of conversations about this have you had with Jamel?
We exchanged a text. I'm telling you the truth. I don't remember exactly what we said, but also I'm fond of saying what's understood need not be spoken. So we both were like, you know what I mean? There was some of that. So we didn't really get in a deep conversation about it, but we texted and was like, yo, you see, you know, these conversations, you know, we both knew. And those that know. I mean, you know,
yeah.
You know, the people who paid attention, they know. But I think the most important thing is that we grow, all of us collectively. So
yeah, it's very true. It's unfortunate that sort of was the way things ended for you at ESPN. It's you know, it's ridiculous because, as you mentioned, this is the conversation we're having now. This is America. This is what we all, whether these executives who hadn't had to be faced with understanding white privilege, understanding racism in America, now have to be able to talk about it every single day. So as you mentioned, hopefully your legacy in a way is having been the first people to open the door in terms of bringing this up, because it was also, let's not forget, let's put this in past tense, who was running our country and how he inserted himself into sports and how that is how this all started. We got to go to break quickly, but we'll be back with more Michael Smith. Thank you so much for your honesty here on the show. We'll have more with you after this. We've had a great time drinking and binking with Michael Smith here, who is just housing that drink here, because I feel as though you have a lot of pressure to live up to yourself. It is a half-hour show, by the way. You were on for an hour last year, so you still kept it. Yeah. You drank it all. Okay. We sadly don't have enough time with you here. We could keep talking forever, but where can we find you next?
Monday through Friday. Brother from Another on Peacock TV. It's free, so go to peacocktv.com. I think it's Peacock TV or peacock.com, one of them. Download the app or watch it online 3 to 5 every day. Also download the podcast. Our social handles are Holly and Smith. I am at Michael Smith on Twitter, the Michael Smith on Instagram. And look out for my content. We're about to come out hard, like 8-Ball and MJG. Inflection Point Entertainment. We're doing everything from feature films to podcasts. So started my own outfit, so things are going well. Thank you.
Very inspired by that. And to promote another competing streaming service, Fubo. We have so much going on at Fubo Sports. I love that segue. On Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and also podcasts. Just so it's not all about Michael here, okay? It's also about Fubo.
That was smart business. That was a real well. You know, you can't sit down and let me do all this Peacock stuff out there. You're like, hold on.
I'm like, okay, now sit down. I got to promote my own place. No, always a pleasure having you on the show here, Michael. Thank you for keeping it 100 with us always and being the undisputed champion, defending the crown. Bottoms up, bitches. We'll see you next time.
Defending the crown.